What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be doing a college football weekend recap. A lot of crazy games happened yesterday, and yeah, we're going to talk and part of Friday and Thursday as well. Louisville and Miami or Virginia, Louisville and Virginia, in an ACC matchup that meant a lot for North Carolina. If Virginia had somehow pulled away with this one, North Carolina would be in control of their own destiny. Sadly, Virginia did not win, 31-24. We're going to talk about it. Didn't get a chance to watch it, but saw the stats. Anthony Colandre, 20 for 31, 314 yards. For Virginia, Malik Washington went 0 for 1. Anthony Colandrea also led rushing, 14 for 89. Kobe Pace, 10 for 22. Mike Collins, 5 for 16. Paris Jones, 3 for 7. Jack Grease, 1 for 1. Malik Washington, 1 for -2. And Sean Wilson, 1 for -8. Receiving, Malik Washington, 8 for 155, 1 touchdown. Malachi Fields, 4 for 85. Kobe Pace, 1 for 28. Maris Jones, 2 for 23. Sackett Wood, 2 for 18. And Sean Wilson, 1 for 6. Mike Hollins, 1 for -1. And then Louisville just barely able to edge them out. Jack Plummer came into the game. I don't know him. I think that's the starter, but I don't know who he is. 19 for 28, 243, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jahar Jordan, 17 for 95. Isaac Guerendo, 6 for 94, 1 touchdown. Evan Conley, 1 for 3. Brady Hodges, 1 for -4. And then Jack Plummer, 4 for -6. That was rushing, by the way. Receiving, Amir Huggins Bruce, 1 for 52. Chris Bell, 4 for 35. Jimmy Callaway, 2 for 27. Jadon Thompson, 2 for 27. Jamari Thrash, 3 for 22. Isaac Guerderno, 1 for 21. Dwayne Martin, 1 for 19. Kevin Coleman, 1 for 17. Jawar Jordan, 2 for 15. And then Josh Lifson, 1 for 4. Joey Gatewood, 1 for 4 as well. So yeah, a very, very close one, a very tight one all the way through. 24-31, the final score. Louisville able to edge it out, keep their championship hopes alive. But yeah, and so that game was major because now, due to the fact that Louisville, their final game is not a conference game, they play Kentucky for rivalry week and not anybody else in the ACC. That means it's very big because they only have one more conference game left. And so if they win that one, it's over with. If they lose it, however, North Carolina would then control their own destiny. However, they would still play 2 tough opponents. They would have Clemson and NC State left. Clemson, who had a phenomenal week this week with the win over Georgia Tech, a big win over Georgia Tech. And then Alabama played Kentucky, 49-21, big win for number 8 Alabama. Michigan, still number 2 for some reason, not really demolishes, but beats Penn State, 24-15. And then Tulane and Tulsa in a nail biter, 22-24. Let's talk about that one, as Tulane, I believe one of the only, they're 9-1 now, they're not undefeated anymore, had a crazy game. Let's talk about Tulsa first. Tulsa, Kirk Francis, 22 for 34, 345, 1 touchdown. Braylon Braxton, 3 for 6, 3 yards and a touchdown, 1 interception as well. CJ Kumbas, 1 for 7 yards. Rushing, Anthony Watkins, 15 for 76. Jordan Ford, 4 for 31. Bill Jackson, 4 for 12. Braylon Braxton, 3 for 9. Kirk Francis, 6 for 3. Camden Benjamin, 8 for 157, 2 touchdowns. This is receiving. Carl Chester, 5 for 132. Malachi Jones, 3 for 22. Nick Rimpert, 2 for 17. Anthony Watkins, 2 for 9. Braylon Presley, 3 for 8. Braylon Braxton, 1 for 7. Colby Powers, 1 for 2. Jordan Ford, 1 for 1. And then, yeah, so absolutely nail-biting game. Tulane, Michael Pratt, 16 for 29, 195 4, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Malachi Hughes, 19 for 131, 1 touchdown. Shedro Lewis, 8 for 26. Michael Pratt, 5 for 9. Receiving Bryce Bohanon, something like that. 4 receptions for 57 yards. Alex Bowman, 3 for 52, 1 touchdown. Chris Brazel, the second, 3 for 41. Reggie Brown, 2 receptions for 11 yards. Shedro Lewis, 1 for 10. Dante Fleming, 1 for 9. Mackay Hughes, 1 for 8. And Lawrence Keys, 1 for 6. So yeah, Tulane, able to just barely pull out the win against Tulsa. And then you had a game in which Liberty absolutely murders Old Dominion 38-10. Then you have another nail-biter, Colorado. Their record has been subpar this season, but they've played a bunch of really good teams. Colorado's had a good season this season. I don't think anybody really expected them to be, amazing this year. But, they've definitely done pretty solid. They have 2 more games left. A shot at bowl eligibility on the line. This game didn't help, though, as they lose to Arizona, who's been on the up and up lately. They're number 19 in the nation now, 7-3. Very, very solid game. But let's start with Colorado. As Shadur Sanders, 22 for 35, 262, 2 touchdowns. Sanders also led rushing, 13 for 29, 1 touchdown. Savion Wilkerson, 7 for 21, 1 touchdown. Anthony Hankerson, 5 for 17. Dylan Edwards, 5 for 10. Receiving Xavier Weaver, 5 for 84. Travis Hunter, 5 for 74. Jimmy Horn, 2 for 37 with 1 touchdown. Javon Antonio, 2 for 29. Michael Harrison, 2 for 19 with a touchdown. Dylan Edwards, 3 for 9. Savion Wilkerson, 1 for 6. And Anthony Hankerson, 2 for 4. So that's pretty solid game from Colorado, just unable to win it in the end. And then passing for Arizona, Noah Fafita, 21 for 35, 214, 2 touchdowns. Jonah Coleman, 11 rushing, 11 for 179. Good gracious, what a performance. DJ Williams, 9 for 33, 2 touchdowns. Rayshawn Luke, 3 for 3. Noah Fafita, 2 for -4. Those are probably sacks. They were sacks because it was the quarterback. Receiving Tateria McMillan. Golly, if they could have some simple names, that would be great. 9 for 107 with a touchdown. Montana Lemonius Craig, 5 for 67. Jacob Coing, 3 for 24, 1 touchdown. Michael Willie, 1 for 13. AJ Jones, 2 for 6. And then Jonah Coleman, 1 for -3. Arizona just able to eventually nudge out the Buffaloes there. In a, again, pretty crazy game. The next one was James Madison, Connecticut. James Madison blows them out 44-6. Kansas State, Baylor. Holy crap, Kansas State, 59-25 victory there. And then probably one of the shockers of the weekend, Tennessee versus Missouri. Missouri ranked number 11 in the country. After this one, they were, I think, 14th. Tennessee was ranked 17th. Now they're 21-11 after Missouri dog walks them 36-7. And then you had Utah and Washington. Washington picking up a big win. They remain number 5 in the country. Washington, man, they're just it's going to suck because what it looks like is they're going to end up being an undefeated team that doesn't make it in unless Georgia or possibly, I think how it's going to work is the loser of Ohio State, Michigan is going to get replaced by Washington is what it's going to look like. Is what it looks like to me at least. But yeah, and so let's start with Utah as Bryson Barnes, 17 for 30, 267, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Barnes led rushing as well, 6 for 39. Jadon Glover, 8 for 37. Jaquindon Jackson, 10 for 29. Money Parks, 1 for 15. And then Sion Vaki, 1 for -4. Receiving, Devon Veli, or Veal, 5 for 145. Sion Vaki, 4 for 67, 1 touchdown. Landon King, 2 for 20. Money Parks, 2 for 17. That's an awesome name. Jaquindon Jackson, 2 for 8. McKee Saguturaga, 1 for 6. Munir McLean, 1 for 4. And then Washington, the winners of this one, Michael Penix Jr., who, in my opinion, I feel like Penix is going under the radar. Like, I mean, he's not, obviously. In my opinion, he's the Heisman winner at this exact moment. Because he hasn't had a slip-up game. He hasn't had a game where he's, like, doing bad. Right now, in my opinion, and I feel like this is a hot take, the Heisman race is between 3 guys. LSU's Jaden Daniels. Washington's Michael Penix. And then you could put either Drake May, you could put Dylan Gabriel. Like, there's a bunch of guys there. I think that is mostly those two, Daniels and Penix. Yeah, Penix, man, he's had a heck of a season. Doesn't make many mistakes. Wins games for his team. He's really good. Dylan Johnson rushing 23 for 104, 1 touchdown. Tybo Rogers 22 for 24. Will Nixon 1 for -3, and then Michael Penix Jr. 5 for -14. Most of those are probably sacks, but he did have a rushing touchdown. And then receiving, Rome Odunze, 3 for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. What a freaking stat line there. Jack Westover, 7 for 64. Jeremy Bernard, 6 for 63. Jalen Polk, 4 for 55. Dylan Johnson, 2 for 28. Devin Culp, 2 for 11. So, yeah, that's just, Penix spreads the ball around a lot between, 6 guys. A lot of teams don't even have 6 ball catchers on their roster. Well, they do, but they're not, nearly as good. Well, I'm thinking of NFL, not in college. College, there's plenty of receivers. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and then, very few teams even have that many guys. Of course, it wasn't like a bunch of guys had a bunch of yards, like the Duke game the other night where North Carolina spread the ball around a lot. But let's go to the next one, which is Miami and Florida State, an absolutely crazy game that almost. Hurricanes almost picking up the win, but fall short, 20-27. We're just gonna go over the stat leaders for each team. Emory Williams, 8 for 23, really bad game. Good gracious. Set 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. Donald Chaney led rushing for the Canes, 12 carries for 85 yards. Then Jacoby George, 5 receptions, 153, 2 touchdowns. Good gracious. So yeah, Emory Williams relied heavily on Jacoby George. And then Jordan Travis, 19 for 31, 265, 1 touchdown. Trey Benson, he had 16 carries for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Johnny Wilson had 5 receptions for 82 yards. And I believe that touchdown was to Keon Coleman. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, Miami almost picking up the win, but unable to in the end. Next game was Oklahoma State versus UCF. UCF absolutely railing Oklahoma State, and the biggest upset of the season, more probably. 45-3, which is unheard of. And then Stanford and Oregon State. Oregon State wins that one 62-17. And then probably the shocker of the weekend. This one was expected to be the game of the weekend. It was not. Georgia, Mississippi. Just absolutely embarrassed. Georgia demolishes Mississippi, or Ole Miss. Right now, if the college football rankings come out, I think they come out on Tuesday, if Georgia's not the number 1 team in the nation, someone needs to be fired, because they have looked, at the beginning of the season, it was rough. It was rough at the beginning of the year, I'll admit, but with the woes with Ohio State when they start slow in most games. They end up getting wins, which is all that really matters, but they still start out slow. Michigan, with all that stuff going on with Harbaugh, where they don't even have a coach at the moment, that's bad. And then you've got, like, the only other team, in my opinion, that you could argue for number one, in my opinion, is Michigan and Florida State. Those are the two teams, in my opinion, that I would argue for, and I think Georgia's number one. I don't think there's any debate, in my opinion. West Virginia, Oklahoma, 59-20. Oklahoma with the win, bouncing back after back-to-back losses. Texas, 29-26, getting the win there. LSU absolutely throttles Florida, 52-35. Michigan State, 38-3 against Ohio State. Ohio State taking the win there. And then the game of the weekend, folks. North Carolina, Duke. There's a whole video about that. My ranting about how horrible our defense is. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything online, but man, something needs to change about that defense because it's bad. Yeah, it's really bad. And then you've got USC, Oregon. Oregon picking up the win, 27-36. Yeah, that is this weekend of college football. Next week, you've got, I'll see if we have any ranked matchups next week. You have Utah, Arizona. That one could be interesting. You have UNC Clemson, which is it's similar to a ranked matchup, even though Clemson's not ranked. They're still a very solid team. And then you've got Washington and Oregon State. That could be a big one there, folks. Yeah. And then, so, again, North Carolina, nothing left to fight for, really. Just a shot at the ACC Championship game. Louisville plays Miami. That's a big one, too, for ACC Championship hopes. Yeah, so I'm curious. App State plays James Madison. So I'm curious to see how App State can do against them. I have a feeling that could be upset watch as well. But yeah, so that is college football week, what is this, 12? Week 12 recap. Two more weeks left of the regular season for college football. And then you go into championship week, which we'll see if the Tar Heels are involved with that. We'll still do probably a championship week recap, even if the Tar Heels aren't involved with it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.